train them before they're ready to run?
Before they race their first competitive Iditarod, they're going to be 3.5 years old before they race their first competitive race. I say that because we do run the Iditarod with them at 2 years old, but that is purely a training experience. I'm not going to try to win it. That's what I've run both times in the Iditarod, and I'm looking to try to finish the race right at about 12.5 days, opposed to the 9 days that the winners will do.
That takes to win.
And that's just basically, I'm trying to get out there, let these dogs see a lot of new scenery. Go home, zebra. Let them see some scenery and develop their bodies and minds and become a more confident.
How many days or weeks or months do you have to train a year?
Well, we start training in September.
September? So you're getting ready?
September. My dad's actually starting training like tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's starting to cool down a little bit. You got to train in the early morning or very early morning, like 4 in the morning. We also have a lot of swamps around our winter training camp. So you're running out there in the swampland, so the dogs always have their feet wet. And that's very important with these guys. They cool down through their feet and their tongues. So you keep their feet wet, you can keep the dog cool. Yeah.
What do you start with? About 30 to pick the final 16?
Yeah, about 30 is, you can start with more, but for us we found that, sometimes you start with 35 dogs or something. There's 25 that you honestly know have a chance at finishing the race in a competitive team. So you spend the first month or two of training working with 10 other dogs that, very rarely one of them ever ends up in the team. So it's typically better just to sell them, unless you think that by training them they will be worth more later on in the year. So a lot of times we do that. People go into the year with not enough dogs. So December rolls around and they're looking at 14 dogs, the dogs become very valuable, and if you've been training them, it's not uncommon to sell a decent dog for $4,000 to $6,000 if it can place maybe 20th in the Iditarod. Not winning, but just finishing the race, and semi-competitively. So.
Can you tell sometimes when they're babies that they're going to be a good Iditarod dog?
There's a lot of people who think they can. As this one has, the spotted feet or something, or discoloration. Some people say they don't like white dogs, with a blonde face and the blue eyes. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't make a bit of difference. And for that first non-competitive Iditarod, that's the first time you can see who's really going to be the superstars, unless they're obviously going to be a way too big of dog or a way too small dog. But even there are the exceptions. Angus, he's 72 pounds. And he's arguably the best dog we've ever had because he has the size that he contributes a lot, and he never gets tired. On the flip side, we have a dog named Peach, she has most of our very good puppies that are now racing the Iditarod competitively. Most of those dogs are her offspring, and she only weighed about 35 pounds, and she was the main leader when we were third in the Iditarod. So it's hard to say,
Do you usually neuter them?
We try not to neuter them. You can, and a lot of times it's necessary to neuter them because they can't hold weight. These dogs, like I said, they're burning 12 to 14,000 calories a day. And one of the most amazing thing about these dogs is their ability to, they can burn that many calories, and they will noticeably have less body fat on them after a long run. And then after 6 hours of rest, they'll gain, 1.5 pounds of fat back onto them, which is nearly impossible for any other creature. These guys, they're binge eaters. Their breed is used to, they make a kill, they eat as much as they can, then it may be another 5-6 days until they eat again. These guys, they hold that ability to eat a whole bunch, but they're doing that 4 times a day.
It must be expensive.
Neutering them does make them hold more weight, so when they're burning that many calories, if you have a dog that is a little bit higher energy or high strung, it's harder to get them to hold the weight. So neutering them could be the right choice.
So it's not an aggression thing or anything?
No, not typically. Not by the time they make it onto the real racing team. By then, they're old enough and mature enough that the aggression isn't really a problem.
Good.
That's just with puppies, as they have too much energy. It's not that
Never to finish the Iditarod. Very big deal because you have to be at least 18 to run the race, and Dallas turned 18 just one day before it started. So he has a race record that he's going to hold on to for a very long time, and it also means that we have to hear about it like all day long. So go ahead and get Mr. Seavey out here. I would like you guys to give a